Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Girl Dad Girls. I'm your host, Bree St. Marie. We have that QT Danny B. We have Michaela Garcia for her
Hello.
first episode here.
Exciting.
And for our guest, we have Clara
Yay.
Flares. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, thank
Yay.
you. I'm doing well. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Can I
Good.
just say, Clara, you are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Totally dig your look.
I love that dress. It's awesome. So
Oh,
tell us
thank
about
you very
yourself.
much. Well, my name's Clara. Hasn't always been Clara. I started off on this journey, you know, at a much younger age, much like everybody else. I knew I was trans probably when I was about 6 or 7, I would say, personally. I do remember like my earliest memory is actually it's probably earlier, 4 or 5. Um, Trying on my mom's clothes, like in front of my mom, and just like kind of pretending and acting out and like playing with imaginary friends. And then my mom being all about it, and then she thought that was cool. And then all of a sudden, like, oh shit, your dad's about to get home. Like, go, take this off, take it off, take it off. Like, it's just like it's something that should be hidden and something that's like not right. So that was like, that was the first memory that sticks out in my head. Um, and then you try to like push it down and say like, oh, it's just a phase or whatnot. And I finally, like right around college, right after college, I decided to more fully embrace it. That's kind of when I got it, social media. Um, we were talking about like our first social media endeavors last night, and with Brianna, and I started off on Photo Bucket and on Flickr in about 08, 09. That was right around like right when I was stopping college, just graduating, and it was Flickr in particular was really, really like um, informative because it was the first time that you're like, oh, people are going to follow me just for being me. And it was also the first time where you start getting like messages, like both good and bad, the type of messages I'm sure we all get all the time right now, where they're like very positive and affirmative. And then other messages where it's just like, wow, people like this exist in the world. That's kind of creepy. And then, and also the first guy that, keep in mind, this is how long ago it was. It wasn't Amazon, it was eBay. So he asked me what I wanted off of eBay and sent it to my place. A very nice soldier, gentleman that I kept in touch with for a couple of years. He's very sweet. And I was like, wow, like guys will just buy you stuff. That's like, what? And just my little mind being blown. And
What was it?
it was a wig, it was an outfit, and it was a couple of makeup items.
Nice.
Yeah, it
Awesome.
was, oh, the wig was really pretty. I wore that thing to like shreds. It was just like I got a couple pictures that I don't share with anyone else. That it's just like I tried to give it a haircut to keep it going for a little longer because it was all tangled, matted. It wasn't pretty.
That's awesome. That's
It's
so cool.
hilarious. That is one thing I've never done before in my entire life is a wig.
Really,
No, really. Never
that's
ever.
really cool.
I've just either done natural or nothing or short dude cut back in the day.
That's awesome. That's confidence.
Yeah.
Oh, who's that big boy behind you?
Wilbur.
Um,
Wilbur.
I found him on Wilbur Street. He's 16. He's my one of my kitties.
Oh, he's an
Oh,
old boy.
oh,
Love it.
that's so cool. So, you found like people they were buying you stuff on eBay. How did they know what to get you? Did you just like send them links to things you wanted on eBay or?
Probably that was so long ago. I don't remember exactly. I don't even remember how that works anymore.
Oh, really?
I'm sure it was probably something like that.
Oh, gotcha. So when did
The
you get
age indicator is photo bucket.
um when did you start getting into like the more like recent like did you jump on Facebook and Instagram and everything as you once they came out?
Yeah. So like it's because that's do you girls get the same question where do you get people that come up like people that are inspired by you that are say like, oh, what's the next thing I should do? Like, how do I get to be like you? Um, or any kind of questions like that?
Nobody wants to be like me.
Stop it.
I get a lot of questions like that, and those are so hard to answer because everybody's
Yeah.
journey is different. And so I can't really give them too much advice because they kind of gotta get there on their own, I think. So
Yeah.
So it's a tough position to be in because you want to help out, but at the same time, you really can't that much.
Right. It's like, hey, I had my path, but it's could be completely wrong for you. So it's just
Exactly.
there's no manual to this. It's you gotta feel it out.
Exactly. That's yeah.
How do you handle those
That's a hard thing
questions,
to tell
Clara?
somebody. Oh, I'm sorry.
How do you handle those questions?
In the same way. I kind of give a generic answer where it's like, I don't know. My thing is like, I probably go with my insecurity or what was my insecurity. It was like, no, you just got to practice makeup. Like, you don't worry about like what clothes, because clothes is like the immediate gratification. So it's like just you got to get good at it. So like, just practice, practice, practice. Like, you're gonna. What can you swear in here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So
I
you're gonna
think
fuck
so.
up. Like,
We can? I didn't know that. I want to try.
You can fucking
Boobs.
swear all you want.
oh wait, did you say boob?
I said boobs.
Titties. That's
Um,
too good.
but you're gonna. That's the reality. You're gonna fuck up. Like, it's just don't feel bad about it. Like, just like you know, just learn and get better. Like, there's a million YouTubes out there. Like, just target one thing because it's overwhelming, right? Because at least that's the way I felt was when it was like, oh wait, so what's the difference between foundation and like concealer and this and this and this and these are all unfamiliar terms to me. Like, so where do I start? So it's like, don't
Wait,
just
is there
like
a difference?
start with the basics.
Now,
I
is
don't know.
is YouTube how you learned how to apply your makeup?
It was a start, but then I reached out to people in the area. At one point I just got so tired of it. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to hire. I went to Sephora and I was just like, I'm just going to pay this girl to, I don't think they do it anymore, but they did your makeup in the store. I'm just like, just talk to me like I'm 3 years old and just like, here's a good
Yeah.
tip. And just like, tell me.
Yeah, Ulta does that still. They do it, but they do it mostly for like special occasions. But I went in and was like, "Can you just make me look like less like a dude?" And she didn't. She didn't. But she just made me look like an earthy dude. But yeah, no, Ulta is really good for that. If you have one around, that they do it in there. So
You know
yeah.
That's
what?
actually, that's a really good point. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say real fast. What I did to learn makeup is I found one makeup tutorial that I really liked, and I bought every single thing in the tutorial, and I practiced that look over and over and over for months until I felt comfortable to start changing it up. That was my technique.
That's really good because that's where I started messing up was like you don't like what you're doing and then you're like you start reading about a different product so you buy that product and then you end up buying like hundreds of dollars worth of products like you use once or twice and hate
Hmm.
Well,
and
and
it's just more like
yeah, I heard from a friend, and the advice that I then went with because that I didn't go with at first is I just went to Ulta and I got this girl to like do my makeup, and my friend said you should find somebody who you like their makeup, and I realized I did not like her makeup that she did. She looked like yeah, like very earthy, and I didn't. So needless to say, but also I found that women have a really hard time doing trans women's makeup, like cis women because they just don't get our facial features and everything. And so when they're like they
mhm.
apply certain things, um, so like for me it was difficult to find somebody who like understood the contouring of a trans woman's face. So yeah,
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, because they want to tend well this is a generalization but they tend to want to do like sharp lines and angles. It's like no, I already got those. Like make them a little more rounded. Like
yeah, exactly, yeah. Um, so yeah, so you started. Sorry, once again, you started in 2009. Is that
yeah, right around there. Yeah, like okay. Oh,
awesome?
whatever. I don't even care anymore. So like if you Google, I went by I started does anyone watch Doctor Who at all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
feel like the doctor. Like I went by many different names. I started off as Ava Olsen, and then I just went to Eva for a while because I thought it was a pretty name. And then I went through my like hooker phase, and that's when I went to Bambi. So then I was Bambi Oates for a long time.
Ooh, I
So if you
like that.
Google Bambi Oates 2009, you can still find like Tumblr pictures and stuff from me. Um, and then
Happening.
Then
Yeah.
I played around with the spelling of oats and then went OATES and then OATS and then you outgrow that phase and so now Clara is like that's who I feel like.
it's awesome that you were able
No.
to like kind of pick and like try them out, because I know with so many people they're like they want to get that one and then settle down with it. Like for me, I mean I tried out Emily for a while, but then I realized in the town that I was currently living in, every trans girl is named Emily, and so I needed a D also in more ways than one. So
Oh.
so I went with Danny because it's easy to like all the like the trans hating guys can just assume that I'm Daniel. So and they just on my Chick-fil-A it's always Danny. Like, cool, thanks. Very affirming.
Nailed it.
So what part of the country are you in or world?
I live in Florida.
Oh.
Mhm.
It's
Uh
not like that. Well, I mean, obviously, our political system is what it is. But it's not, I don't really feel like it's indicative of the people here. Like from my experience, I've had very good experiences here.
is
Yeah,
is
you're in a very kind of pride centric area. I'm not going to say where it is, but to my understanding, that particular place in Florida is very friendly to
It
our
is, yeah.
types.
Have you had any negative experiences in
Oh,
Florida that you
absolutely.
could that stand out, I
Um,
guess?
Florida and in Vegas, where it's have uh have any of you noticed, like probably in the last, I'd say last year, where there is it's almost like a social mediaification where people kind of like use the same types of insults, where like when I first started noticing this probably in like October, November last year. And it was here, and then I experienced a lot in Vegas too when I was in Vegas, where these idiots will come up to you and they'll kind of look at you and be like, and then they'll list like pretty much every male name that they can think of, and they'll be like, Danny, Joe, Ted, is that you? And like that's probably, I mean, that's pretty, you just ignore them. You're like, you're not even worth my time. Like,
It's
I'm not
pretty
going to
mature.
address you.
Chase.
Yeah.
wait,
But,
people did that to you?
oh yeah, yeah.
Wow. And like I'm flabbergasted that people would do that, because like I feel like that's prime begging for like a five-fingered facial reconstruction. Like
But I think
like
that's what they want though. I think they want the headlines like that.
yeah, like it's like
Like that's
cool,
what
you
I'm
get to
always
pick your
conscious of.
nose. Um what how do you like how did you handle, did you just walk away? I mean that like it's gotta like
Mhm.
yeah, like I don't know, like were people around? Did anybody defend you? Was it just sort of
Oh my
like
God, no, it's crowded. It's like there's the first time I experienced it was actually in Vegas. It was at casino floor, and there was probably, like 1,000 people around. And like I don't know, like you just don't give them the time of day. Like you make them feel stupid by not acknowledging that their viewpoint is valid in any way, shape, or form. And like they lose interest and they feel stupid because they don't get any kind of reaction. And then people see that. And when people see that, I feel like they're not like, oh, why isn't she responding? They're more like, wow, what an asshole. Why is he doing that? That other person's being so calm and doesn't do anything.
I like that. I think that's a good way to handle that. A friend of mine told me a long time ago, don't feed the trolls. So if you ignore them,
Yes.
they often go away.
There we go.
Don't
I
feed the
mean,
troll.
but do you think that I don't know, I like honestly I feel like from my experience with bullies is like that just causes them to double down, and they're like, now I need to be meaner next time because it wasn't mean enough. It's not that I wasn't able I wasn't able to get to him. It's that it wasn't that I didn't go mean enough. Um, and I feel like that's like while everybody's saying like kind of take the high road. I don't know. I have a whole bunch of friends who've taken the high road and they just end up at home crying. And me walking around with my very obvious anger issues on my sleeve have, knock on wood, have yet to be harassed like that. But but yeah, like I don't know, like you hit that happens a lot. It happens in Vegas, it happens in Florida.
Um, Not a lot, but I'd say like if I'm out for it's usually like when I'm on vacation, like in a kind of a social setting where I'm you know, like, in Vegas in a hotel for like 3 or 4 days. It'll happen once or twice. Um,
Yeah. Wow.
and that's I don't, I just, if they try to double down and get more extreme, I feel like that works against them because eventually there's like especially with the local politics, I feel like that's starting to like kind of come back a little bit where people are starting to push against it, where they're just like, no, these, you know, what are we doing here? This is ridiculous. And I think when people double down and get meaner, like they just make themselves look worse. Like I feel my personal belief is that like that's like the most effective way to like kind of combat that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean it's a good idea. I mean, honestly, like 'cause I guess you're not bringing that negativity into your life. Whereas like if you were to start a fight and actually like reciprocate with either something equally negative or something or up the ante by slugging them, it yeah, just puts negative energy into your world.
But
That's
can you imagine the headline too? Like you don't want the headline where it's like, because you know this would be the headline. It wouldn't be about anything about the argument or anything about what happened. It would just be trans girl punches so and so, and then they would probably go to like the most relatable aspect of the other person's life, where it'd just be trans girl punches man who lost his grandmother 5 years ago or something, like it
yeah, true, true.
they
Yeah,
try to sensationalize it.
trans woman punches man as he leaves church. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, like 10 hours ago. Can you mention that part?
No, yeah, they hate us. But it's fine though. Yeah, it's not. But anyways, yeah, that's crazy. What like have you had any interaction, especially with, like with your friends or like people around that you were going into a situation thinking it was gonna be really bad, but then it turned out to be like a lot better than you were expecting?
Yes, yes. Probably opening myself up here, but so I run a bar in the area. I've been there for a long time, same job for a very long time, and just because I've been there so long, I presented myself as male there the entire time. And then I've had some of my employees find my profiles and send me messages on there, just basically being like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like, people know about this, and we like I was sent this link by other people, like, which is like the most terrifying thing you can get, because then you start. So I'm like, oh fuck, like I don't. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to. So I called my boss and I'm like, hey, here's the deal. I'm trans, which is like, one of the when you're forced to do it, it's kind of like one of the most difficult phone calls you can make. She's really cool though, and so it was completely fine. And she's like, I stand by you, whatever. She's amazing. And so I went into work the next day, pretty much expecting everybody to like, um, whatever fallout came from that. And the worst part about that day was like every time you saw two people talking to each other, the paranoia where you're just like, are they talking about me? Are they like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But that was 7 months ago, and nobody said a single thing about it. So like to me, that's been the most pleasant thing, is that it's like I, if somebody was going to use it against you to gain leverage or something, like they would have done it by now. So like it's just I take it as everyone's cool with it. It's not an issue.
Yeah. Sorry, the internet here at the hotel is being awesome. It's every like let me take a quick break. Is everyone are y'all seeing the jumpiness in the videos or is it just me? Okay.
That's clear on my end.
Okay, cool.
Oh, it is now. That's
Yeah,
weird.
okay,
Right
cool.
as you
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, it cleared up. Like I was seeing yes, sorry about that. Uh cool. Okay. Yeah, Mika, you disappeared for a bit. But
Yeah,
well,
sorry, I
cool.
went to go get a drink. I didn't want to be
Oh,
rude, but
oh,
and then
no, no,
I
no,
couldn't
no,
figure out
No,
my
you're
camera to
good.
come back, so
oh,
it took me a sec.
I thought the feed just gave out. Oh wow. Okay, never mind.
No, sorry.
Um, cool. Well, so I guess how was your family interaction? How did that go when they came out to your you said your mom was supportive when you were younger and wanted to wear clothes,
Mhm.
but your dad did when your mom found out that like this wasn't just a phase, did
Oh,
she
I don't think she has yet.
oh, oh
Okay.
um
I mean, my family lives 2,000 miles away. I just haven't I'm not against telling them. It just hasn't. I see him in person once every couple of years. It's not. It just hasn't come up yet.
Oh, like
Are we talking 2,000 miles in another country or 2,000 miles the other
No, in
side
this
of the
country.
state?
Yeah,
Okay,
just other
okay,
side of this
gotcha.
country. Yeah.
oh
Like,
wow.
ooh, Iceland.
You live in
Ah.
Antarctica? So,
I mean, I figured next time I see him, I'll probably have to tell him, but like it just, I don't know, hasn't come up yet.
Cross that bridge when we get there.
Just text
Yeah,
him.
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, go ahead, Bree.
Can I ask, how's the dating life, or are you married, dating?
I used to be married. I was married for a minute. Um, and then I made the mistake of never telling her about myself. So, uh, we're on good terms now. I think it's a very healthy relationship. Not that it's a relationship because we don't really talk converse much, but like it's just we both wish each other well. Where it's just like, you know what, I want you to do well in life. We genuinely say that to each other, and like you just kind of learn from it and move on. I don't know. I guess that's
Yeah,
it.
that sounds about exactly like what I did. I worked from the outside of the home in when I should have started in the home and worked outwards.
Yeah.
Like I came out at work first and then and socially and everything else. And then I came out, not by choice, at home after certain events. So technically my ex-wife was the last one to find out and it
Oh.
ended.
Yeesh.
We're good now. But for about half a year there, it was pretty wretched, to be honest. But I deserved it a little bit, TBH, because I was an idiot. But whatever.
You're human, you learn from it and you move on.
It's kind
It's
of the
true.
same story with me. I was actually married for 10 years before it came out to my
Oh,
ex-wife,
wow.
and she hated me for quite a while, especially when I got bigger boobies than her. So, but we're
How's
on
your
good terms
relationship?
now. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Good pick.
How about
Do you
you?
have kids?
No, no kids.
No kids, just pets. How many pets do you have?
This is probably the most embarrassing part of this entire podcast. So I have Wilbur, who's 16. Um, 6 or 7 months after I found Wilbur, I found another cat in a tree that was like super adorable. She was like this big and she was crying. And I'm like I felt so bad and I took her in. So she's 15. And then I'm like, last year I was like, wow, these two are getting old. Like they're in good shape, but they're old. Like, and then like I felt bad. I'm like, oh, what if one dies or when one dies, like the other one's gonna be devastated because it's like. So
Yeah.
then I had somebody at work who's like, I'm gonna give this cat to the Humane Society if nobody wants him, and it was like a little tiny one like that. So I'm
Oh
like, yeah, I'll
no.
take him in.
That
So
cycle
I have,
got caught in the cycle. It's
I
gonna keep
know,
on
I
going.
know.
You
I
need
have
15
I,
now.
no, no. I do have 3 air purifiers. I'm very clean and I'm very conscious of the smells.
Yeah.
You're a crazy cat lady.
No, after this is it. There's no more after this.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess yeah.
Okay.
That was
So
that
just the
was
three.
yeah.
How about everybody else? Do you have pets?
Yeah. I've got a healer sitting right there, and he is currently smoking me out right now. Y'all can't hear it, but he's letting him go.
Yeah, that's how
Oh,
one
I don't
buddy.
have any pets at the moment. I love dogs and I love cats, but I'm actually allergic to both.
Oh,
Oh
So it doesn't
no.
stop me though. But last dog I had, his name was Taco, and he was a Chihuahua,
oh,
and he got to about 16 years old, and he passed away about 3 years ago.
oh.
But that was my last pet.
yeah. Um yeah, I just do like
Oh,
my
I did have a few goldfish. But I was
iconic.
hosting sushi night not too long ago, and actually ran
No.
out. So you had to do what you have to do, you know. I'm just kidding.
People want seconds, that's what they want.
We just gotta cut them up. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, Well, very cool. Like it sounds like you have like a pretty good understanding of who you are and like how your transition is going. Have What would you say? Like, when would you say or would you say that you've finished transitioning? And if so, like, what were like your criteria for like saying that, okay, I'm done. Like, this is who I am. There's nothing really else left to do. Yeah, we've had people on the past who said that they can't wait to finish transitioning, and other people who say they think it's a lifelong thing. What are your feelings on being able to finish slash what does it take for you to finish?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, I feel my personal opinion is a lifelong thing. I don't there's not any end goal. Like it's just you just keep wanting to get better as a person and um, transition. I just feel like it's a process. Like I didn't you got to be comfortable in your own skin. Um, and I just feel like you just keep doing different benchmarks. So like I'm not on hormones yet, so that's probably the biggest thing that I've noticed politically here is that I've tried for a little while to there's a couple clinics, one in mine in particular that I have a lot of friends that go to that I want to go to. And every time I try to make an appointment, they're like, we're not accepting any new patients now because of the political atmosphere. Like we don't know what this means to us. So it's hard to find a place right now that's in the state. Um, so, but you know, like I there's got to be a way. So I'm just keep talking to people and see like what I can do. So that's for me, that's the next step. Like that's one that my mentally I'm there. I'm like 100% it's going to happen. But I feel like every step along the way, that's like where you got to be.
I'm
Yeah,
very surprised you're
I've
not on hormones. Your skin is glowing.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, no
I
thank
gotta
you.
kidding.
say, you got legs for
You,
days.
Thank you.
you got a great palate to start with. I've got like I switched to injections, so I have like an entire leftover pharmacy of pills in there. So say the word.
Oh, I'll send you my address to ship me some, and
Hey,
I'll take the
be your
blame if we
dealer.
get.
what
Yeah, I'll cash app you.
I guess what would it take? Like, are you to the point now in do you want hormones enough where you would leave the state? I know a lot of people are kind of like
Yeah.
exodus from Florida and the South in general. Like, are you contemplating that? Is that something that you think of down the road, or is it something like you're just kind of waiting to feel out what's going to happen in the next little bit?
I have a timeline in my head. It's probably a couple years. You know that everything's subject to change, but I'm thinking like a year or two. If there's not any more clarity, or if I have any kind of idea, then yeah, I definitely would.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just feel like for me that like hormones was such just a defining part of this whole thing. Like I like June 17th is sort of this like it's like Christmas all over again for me because that was
That's
my
my birthday.
birthday. Is it really? That's
Yeah,
my
like my actual birthday.
No way.
oh
Oh
Oh,
wow.
shit.
happy! Wow, that's cool.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
As you can tell, Mika and I know so much about each other. Uh, I didn't know she was allergic to cats and dogs. Neat. But yeah, no, it's just like it is such an amazing thing. Although at first, yeah, I don't know if you've heard from like people who've been on it, the first like 4 or 5, 6 months, it's just essentially nothing. You're just like sitting there waiting, like you're waiting on these changes that they're like, yeah, it's gonna take a year to start happening. And yeah, for me, the only thing I can really do is like just start working out like crazy. And so I lost about like 30 pounds, um,
Oh
but
wow.
yeah. But you, I mean, you are like honestly, when you said you weren't on hormones yet, I was like, oh my, you were gonna, if and when you get on them, gonna freaking kill it. So that's amazing.
Hormones, hormones do take forever. I remember the first time I took a pill, I went to the mirror the next morning and I was like looking to see if anything changed. Nothing.
Yeah.
But I will
This
say
will
the
have to
first
stay.
thing that does change, I don't know if you heard about this, your nipple buds or whatever they're called become super sensitive. And if you barely touch anything with them, you feel like you're dying. It's awful.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Well, I heard that,
I've
and then I heard
had
like a mental roller coaster at first too. Like,
oh
you know,
yeah.
after.
You know,
I've spent countless hours sobbing in a bathtub for no reason.
does yeah, it
An
makes the
empty
higher
bathtub.
it does make the highs a lot higher. I mean, you go between high and low a lot more easily. I found that like I don't get as angry as much. Obviously, I mean, I don't know. I guess from the earlier discussion, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that. Um, I don't get as angry as much, I guess. I fight about as much. But anyways, but yeah, no, it does affect like your ability to go up and down. Um, I think the thing that like I guess the hard part for me, I feel like maybe the other two hosts are kind of in a similar thing is because it was a mixture of being on hormones, but also our marriages and families kind of falling apart. That it's hard to attribute which part of it, because that's a pretty devastating thing to like lose your person that you thought you were going to be married to for the rest of your life. So I'm not sure how much I can attribute to the hormones and how much of that was just sort of me just
Oh, good point. Yeah.
running the gambit of or gamut. Sorry, I say that word wrong all the time. Apparently, we had a guest correct me on it. And apparently, 37 years of saying that wrong.
It's
Um,
stuck with you.
damn it. But yeah, like doing the whole like the stages of grief. Doing stages of grief on hormones is a trip, though.
That's a good,
So
that's a good point. I never thought about that before.
I didn't either.
Oh.
Damn. It's like,
yeah,
But it also
that
So much
explains a lot
respect
of the
for-
bathtub hours.
Yeah.
It has some positive benefits too, though. I think like mentally you'll be just so much happier with yourself. Like it just feels like all that comes out too. And then I'm not afraid to happy cry anymore. Um yeah, if I
yeah,
get super emotional, super happy, I'll just like drop tears, like watching something
yeah.
sappy on TV or something.
Oh,
Like,
that's
oh,
cool.
they kissed. Oh my God.
They took my nose test off today, and I almost lost it. I was like, I mean, the face surgery changes for me. It's so far it's changed my life. Like the 2 days that I've done it, 7 days that I've done it. Anyways, it's been night and day. But like, yeah, like happy cried essentially almost when it's like never would have done that before. That's not what men do. So yeah, and you
Yeah,
kind of learn.
Lord help you if the Hallmark channel's on.
Fucking
Or that adopt a pet commercial.
Oh,
Oh, I get lost in that every time. Sobbing.
in the arms of an angel.
Oh,
Don't do
no.
it.
That one.
Don't do it.
Oh my gosh.
So
I don't want that kid in India to go starving.
your socials like do you have friends who like were you friends with LGBT people before? Did you did your friend group have to change when you came out? I know like mine moved a lot to Instagram. But
Oh,
how was your social, like personal and then also online stuff?
no, it was starting over. So, I'm originally from the Midwest. Yeah, well, I'm from Wisconsin, and I moved down to Florida probably 9 years ago, 8 years ago. It was me and my ex-wife, and I didn't know a single soul except her, and it was for work. And like I'm in charge, so I'm not really allowed to hang out with anybody from work. And so like my wife was my best friend. Like that's who I hung out with. I'm like, whatever, I don't need anybody else. I'm good. So like when we got divorced, it was that was kind of the point where it's like, wow, I don't know a single person here. Like I'm, X miles away from where I last was. And like fuck, I gotta start over. Like, how do you start over? Like, you're in your what was I at that point? This is my late 20s, early 30s. And I was like, um, now what do I do? Like it's just like it's so crazy. And
Yeah.
so like that's when I started social media. Like I started my Insta and everything.
Yeah.
And I just started reaching out to people. I'm just like, hey, I'm interested in this, so I'm gonna follow them. And then like, you know what? I'm just gonna say, hey, look for local people and be like, hey, I like your aesthetic. I think this is really cool. I'm not gonna like say let's hang out because that's kind of a creepy thing to like start saying, but like maybe we can get a dialogue going. So like I started doing that with a couple people, and I still have friends to this day. Like some of my best friends I met on Insta that are like local in the area, and like we still hang out all the time. And like it just kind of you got to start somewhere, so it just kind of opens you up to like a whole bunch of different sort of circles, like socially.
Yeah. I feel like uh, Instagram and Reddit for to a lesser extent, but like Instagram has kind of been a boon for most of the people that we've talked to. have said like, finding a community on Instagram was one of the best things that they did. Because like I came out in 2017 for about a month. Didn't have it, like I started taking hormones I was on them for about a month, and then I went back in the closet because I had no community. And it's like coming out now. I came back out and found Instagram, found Reddit, found all these things. And it's like if it weren't for the online community being able to, communicate with folks like y'all, I would be probably back in the closet again. And I may not be here actually. I probably wouldn't be here. But that's cool that you're able to like actually find social connections locally. I've met so many people who like all their friends are opposite sides of the country, but do you make like an effort to go out and like hang out with these, like to make it to pride events, make it to happy hours and things like that?
Um, I try, but like the reality of my jobs are like, being in a bar atmosphere, like when those events are in town, like that's usually when I'm always at work. So it's kind of difficult. Like I'm at work on the weekends and I'm at work like during every major holiday and social events. So it's like you kind of like got to think a little bit differently. So like you try to, that's kind of how I started off was like, okay, so what are some people in this field that are in the area? Um, and then just kind of go from there. Like there's a lot of misses like before you get a hit, like where you meet somebody that's cool that you want to hang out with. But um
Yeah, I think that's everywhere. That's Instagram too, though. I've lost.
yeah.
I've made. I think I've lost more friends than I've ever had in real life. Um, but yeah, that's awesome. It's so cool to meet somebody who's like been, has had such a range of the experience of that. What kind of advice would you say to somebody who's kind of in that same boat, especially somebody in Texas or Florida, not Texas, more Texas, um, who's like
It's the
trying to
same
figure out,
place.
yeah, who's trying to
Same
figure
thing,
out
yeah.
like who wants to, maybe they think, okay, cool, I also identify not as the thing I was born, or maybe I just want to try see if this is what's different. Like, how would you say what were like some of the early pitfalls that you fell into that you think you would be a lot further along if you hadn't hit?
That's a really good I'll give my answer, but then I want to hear everybody else's answer because I think this is really important for everybody else to hear. And I'm curious to see what if anyone has like shared experiences with that. Um, for me, it was just caring what people thought. Like, if you don't care what people think, like it's way easier said than done, but like it just opens you up to so many things because like we're in our own heads like so much. Like it sounds kind of weird and morbid, but it makes me feel like so comforted. Like somebody told me once that okay, so like 100 years ago, who was the most important person in the world, the most famous person in the world 100 years ago?
Lincoln.
Wait, 100 years ago it'd be 1920. uh
Al Capone.
in, what were you saying, like, are we going with Jesus?
Einstein.
No, no, that's the point though. Like this is exactly the point, is that nobody knows. Like I can't fucking remember who was alive during 1920. Like, and that was 100 years ago. That's not that long ago.
It's
Like
crazy.
nobody cares. Nobody remembers what you do. It doesn't matter. Like even if you think people are staring at you, they're probably not. They're all like absorbed in their own lives. So just fucking do what you want to do because nobody gives a shit. Like
Yes.
that's super
Yeah.
comforting to me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to monopolize the conversation, but yeah, like one of the things that I always harp on is one of the best things and also the worst things that I ever realized is that I'm not the center of everyone else's universe, like I am of mine. Which is kind of sad when you're like, oh, nobody cares. But also you're like, it's kind of relieving when you're like, oh, nobody cares. Like you can go out and wear what you want to wear and nobody cares. They have so many, like you're 8 or 9 on their 10 important things that they're thinking about at any point, if that. So,
Yes, yeah.
like they're not going to bump you to the list because you have nail polish on or you're wearing shorts. So,
See, I don't get that. I walk outside, there's probably paparazzi out there right now.
oh yeah, Mika is our resident celebrity.
I'm just kidding.
It's true though. Oh my
No, that
gosh.
was one of the coolest things was like the only thing I ever got was like when I went out to the beach, I was wearing shorts and they're like, "Oh, why are your legs shaved?" I'm like, "Oh, because I like them shaved." And that was it. That was the whole conversation. Like that's just don't get in your
Yeah.
own head. Like
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I got that question once way early on. And I had, of course, I came up with the dumbest answer. It was like, oh, I do it for swimming. I don't even
Good
swim.
answer, of course.
And everybody fucking knows that. They're like, you don't see the pool ever. Like, if you see a pool because it's in a picture. So I was quick on those answers, but I was trying to get myself out there, and it was where I guess a good tipping point was realizing just how far confidence can go. Because even if someone does notice that you have nail polish on, like whatever, they notice it for a second, and then they most likely forget it 5 minutes later, and it doesn't fucking matter. Like none of it does. Like you do you. People are gonna think what they're gonna think, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't fucking matter.
I
That's
like
my
that. It's a
piece.
good tagline.
That's the kind of
That'd be a good t-shirt.
that's kind of
That's
the
like Forrest
slogan of
Gump and
our
shit happens.
that's kind of the slogan of our podcast. It doesn't fucking matter.
Oh God. That's good.
Yeah. All right, Mika, you're up. What were
Yeah,
your
you're up. Where are your hangups?
My hangups coming out.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Probably I forgot what was the original question.
it's like things that when you were coming out, because we all hit roadblocks and we all there were times where like for me especially, like I wanted to go back in the closet and I almost did, and I didn't. But like if I had thought of something a different way, or if I had uh not done a certain thing, um like for instance, not focusing on what people think. um I took 2 hours to do a 30-minute run because I spent the first hour and a half sitting in my kitchen crying, drinking beer because I was too scared to go out in women's running clothes. um but yeah, like things like that.
Yeah, I think I was the same way. Thinking about what people would think of me. I was the same thing. The first time I went out as myself, dressed up, I had a wig, makeup, and stuff. I was going to an LGBTQ center support group, and same. It took me about an hour just to get outside to walk to my car, which was only about 8 feet from my back door. Um, yeah, but yeah, I mean, after a while, confidence just comes after time. And then, like Clara said, you just stop caring what people think, and that makes things so much easier.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, really, it's. I feel like that more than how you dress and how you look, it's how you carry yourself. Because I feel like like you can be the prettiest person ever, but if you walk around hunched over and almost setting yourself up to be ostracized.
Mm.
Yeah, there's something that, like I said, energy that comes with like I am who I am and I don't care what y'all think. Um, but yeah, then I guess also at the same point, you can put a target on yourself if you do around some people, for
I
doing
also
that.
think if you have that kind of attitude where, like, this is me, like, I don't care, why should you care? And I think other people don't care. But if you are like kind of sheltered and like make a big deal about it or bring attention to it, then I think you do stand out. So
Yeah, people pick up on that energy.
yeah.
It's like no different than high school.
Like, like
By the
things.
way, I think that should be a segment where you ask every guest, like, how long did it take you to make it out to your car the first time you went out?
Yeah.
Like,
That's one of the closing questions.
yeah, like mine was definitely over an hour too. It
Yeah.
was-
Well, but then
How many
there's
times
only
did you walk to the front door and walk back and go back and then go back and yo-yo?
oh, I was in a hotel. Like I just it's like is the coast clear? Okay, is there anybody walking? No, like and then I'm looking out the same window like 15 times.
Me too. I was looking out the blinds the whole time, like just waiting for people to pass by and stuff.
well,
And then of course, like the second I walked outside, like somebody just happened to like pull up and like make a comment, and I was just like, oh god.
is I guess that and that's kind of what That's what would be kind of cool to see if y'all have any ideas on. Is there anything? Because I know for me, when I went out running for the first time, I chugged about 4 beers back when I was drinking heavily. And so I got slightly I mean, that was over the course of about 20 minutes. And so I was pretty much feeling it. And then I went out for the shortest damn run ever. Um, but is there anything that people can do to think about, like, other, I mean, because it's easy to say don't worry about it, but it's also easy to say, like, don't think about a panda, think of an animal but not a panda. And it's like, well, damn, it's panda. But it's really easy to say, like, don't worry about it, but it's hard to do. And so it's like, I guess, yeah, like, is there a like, what was the catalyst that got us each out there? Because we all did it. Was there something that hit you that was like, this got me out the door?
I think that's kind of the journey and the process. My personal belief is you have to go through that awkwardness or pain. Like you just, I don't know, it's like a rite of passage. You just got to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that might be kind of an old school answer, but it's just like,
No.
you got to get confident somehow. Like, just do it.
If someone told me early on exactly what I just said earlier, that nobody cares, and just like drilled it into my head, like that first time I was walking out the door, they're behind me, like rubbing my shoulders, like nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares. Go, 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 go. It's like
That would be the
that.
worst motivational speech ever.
No,
Nobody cares about you.
nobody cares. You suck. Nobody, you don't matter. Nobody cares.
Well, maybe not say the you suck part, but
Yeah, right.
um, but honestly,
Go get your walk of shame done.
actually,
yeah.
one thing
Go
I
walk
will,
hunched over.
one thing I will say that did help me the first time I ever went out in a dress, because actually I went out in a dress before I even went out like in running clothes or any of that stuff. But it was because I had a friend who was comfortable going out in a dress and going out with another person. I think that was my biggest thing,
Yes.
going out like in clothes by myself. That
Oh, you
was
did that yourself?
the running clothes. Yeah, the running stuff was by myself. Yeah.
Girl, that's impressive. That's like next level. Like
Well,
I
I also
never
had a
did that.
bunch of beer in
Like
me by that point. So
that's really brave. I never did any of my initial, like I always had somebody with me. That's really impressive.
oh, okay, yeah, but that, I think that's, did wait, Bree, Mika, did y'all have, y'all were by yourselves, right?
Yeah, what I did
Yeah.
was I put myself in situations where I had to kind of force myself to get out. Like I would make appointments at the bank and stuff like that, and then be
Oh
there
wow.
minutes before I'd have to walk in. That way I knew like, okay, well, I can't go home now, so I might as well get out of my car and
Wow.
go in there.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
Planned outings.
yeah,
I did those
exactly.
too.
That,
Like,
that
okay,
I
make it
feel like,
I
happen.
mean, wow. That's really cool. Like I did that like once I had a little more confidence and went out a couple times, but I never that's really cool. I don't that's really brave.
It's
it's,
official. I'm cool.
I mean, it's kind of, it's sort of self-defeating. Like, I think like both those, like, having a time requirement or being trashed. Um, sorry, my voice is terrible. But anyways, but like being really drunk. But I liked your thing about going out with people. That you went out with people that until you felt comfortable going out by yourself, you went out with people. I feel like that was having somebody there who, it's like going to a party and looking ridiculous, but somebody else looks ridiculous too, which is a crappy way of saying wearing women's clothing out is, it's like looking ridiculous, but it's how, honestly, it's how I thought I looked. I thought I must have looked like an upside down triangle in these women's clothing, and having somebody there who looked ridiculous along with me. So yeah, like, I don't know, I guess maybe the idea is like, go online and find somebody who wants to take you out, like a friend
Yeah.
who will.
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword too, because first there's one girl in particular that I'm in on Insta and she helped me through a lot of the process, but she isn't trans, she's cis. So it was just like it was kind of like she helped me a lot with makeup initially and everything. And but then you also were kind of like judging yourself against her, which isn't kind of like it's not
Yeah.
realistic. Like so it was overall it was definitely like huge, huge plus. Like she helped me so much and still does to this day. but I don't know if I would recommend that or not. Like, I don't. I
Yeah.
guess maybe there's no right way to do it. It's just part of your journey.
Yeah, I think that that was me. Like the reason I brought up was the person that went out was a actually no, it was a cross dresser. Like he identified male, but would go out at night as a female.
Like a
And I guess
cross-dressing superhero.
yeah, but he took but basically like took me out under his wing because he knew I was just terrified about it. I was like I had all these clothes that I was just wearing around the house, and he's like, "We're going out. You're gonna wear this," and um yeah, just having somebody there to like when when you think that people are judging you, it's like, well, at least they're only judging me with half of their energy because they have to be judging both of us. So
Oh,
uh,
interesting.
yeah, like their attention can't all be on me because it's got to be on at least a little bit on the other people that I'm with. Um, yeah, because it was definitely a big burden to bear to be like walking down the street by myself and being like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is my butt. So
That's exactly what I did. I actually
Well,
went
that's
to
our.
Barton. I went to Barton Creek Mall for like half a day and just walked around there. That was like one of the first times I went out in public.
yeah,
And it was just, I was in a sea of people where it kind of like hard to get noticed. And that was a good little stepping stone. I didn't really have anybody to go out with. When I came out, I lost all of my OG friends except for one.
Oh,
And I was
oh
like,
wow.
I mean, it was pretty difficult because it was the separation, then losing everybody, and essentially starting over everything. So I didn't have anybody to do that with. So it was me, myself, and
Oh wow.
I. Yeah, kind of sucked, but we got better for it.
So, does anyone, this is kind of a question for everybody, like how would you rate your initial fashion choices, like the first couple times you went out? Does anyone have any like specifics or like pictures they want to share? Like,
Fucking,
you gotta learn.
I'm
Yeah.
leaving.
Um,
Well, I'll go. So I think I mentioned this on my podcast interview with the ladies, but I noticed that a lot of trans women, they really jump into the whole like feminine things so quickly, like all the dresses and skirts and high
yeah.
heels and floral and stuff like that. And I didn't want
Uh-huh.
to be like trying too hard. So I kind of went with the tomboy vibe. I kind of went with t-shirts and shorts for the longest time.
Oh,
And then when
smart.
I got my boobies, then I switched to, spaghetti strap tank tops like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of only recently found my femininity when it came to style. I got a BBL about 4 months ago. And now that I have a more feminine figure, now I'm kind of diving into the dresses and skirts and more form-fitting clothes.
Wow, that's the way to do it. Well, in my opinion, but like that's the exception. That's not the rule. That's impressive.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
'Cause
it's
I was definitely the opposite end. I was making terrible like fashion choices. I was just like,
Same.
just
Yep.
oh God,
Same.
some are so bad.
Well,
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know. I
and
came out so slow at work, and I said this last time, but I was dressing andro for like a long
That's the way to
time.
do it.
Yeah, it was like loose sweaters and like not even leggings, but like
What, you
well,
dress like an android, like a robot?
yeah, data, you know.
Oh yeah.
Affirmative.
I am
No.
programmed to jam.
It's like I wore the same shit almost every day and a lot of flats, a lot of flats. And then I made a hard switch. It was like a mental thing for me. I was like, okay, you're stuck. You need to move on. And I made a hard switch to dresses and heels, and I wore that every fucking day to work. And it did so. I don't know what it is about a dress, but it really kind of puts you in a different atmosphere, like your personal feeling and how you look, everything. I don't know. That's how it was for me. But
Oh wow.
dresses were kind of like my unlocking um, garment for myself. Kind of took my confidence to that next level. Like you can rock a dress in public, you're good to go and feel good about it.
I
Absolutely.
I think that's one thing that like also the hormones end up doing over the course of like the first 6 months is it takes your um I don't know a better way to say this. It takes your horniness from like a 10 to like a well for me it's from like a 10 to like a 1. And so when I first started all this stuff, I was like, oh, I'm gonna look so hot when I wear all these thongs. And I bought so many fucking thongs. I have probably a drawer that is like half full of underwear that I don't wear. Um,
You have a whole drawer of butt floss?
I do. I
Dang.
have so much. And I was like, I went and got all this sexy, sexy stuff because I was like, this is gonna look really hot. I'm gonna turn all the people on. And then I don't wear it. Like I wear my t-shirt, I wear my sounds gay. I'm in t-shirts. Um, but
You know,
yeah,
when I first started wearing thongs, it took me a while to realize that the little part goes in the back.
Oh my God.
I was just kind of flipping it in the front, wrapping it up a couple times. I thought that was the support.
yeah, it keeps the blood in there.
It's the nut splitter. This is the divider.
Fashion is pain.
Yeah, but but yeah, I mean, I one of the things that I always like it's my theory is that when we transition, we all regress to a time where we would have wanted to be a girl, like where we like found the most like we really would have enjoyed living our true lives. And so for me, it was like junior and senior year of college apparently because it's like kind of slutty but not really. I'm kind of like thinking
It's
about
almost like a second puberty, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. And like I know a lot of like women that are a little bit older that I know, like they'll go back to like their Barbie phase and they'll dress up in like pink everything, and it's like okay, you do you, girl. I'm yeah, I think late like mid-20s for me is kind of where I've regressed to as a 38-year-old. But yeah, it's like I'm gonna go get laid, but I'm gonna think about the future afterwards. So I'm gonna like I'm gonna take some clothes for the walk of shame because I'm not a freshman anymore. But I'm gonna go get some strange. So
What were some of your fashion choices, Clara?
oh God. Just mixing and matching things that don't belong together. Like I had ideas. I like this. I like this. Instead of like accepting that they're two separate things, like putting them together. Like I like all these. Okay, so one in particular. Um, maybe I'll show later. Maybe I won't. But like I had a really cute pair of like white shorts that were like like right here. They weren't too slutty or anything. They're just like nice, cute shorts. And then like, oh, I like fishnets. Wait, what if I put white shorts with fishnets? But then, oh, there's these pink pair of heels. So like I'll put those on too. Even though I
Yeah,
don't
we
know
got
my
to see this picture.
size.
yeah.
Right?
Oh God, I have so many photos that are not safe for work. I mean, they are, but they're not for my mental health.
Not safe
And
for life.
yeah, right. Like just so many where,
Wait,
and then there are clothes that I get from friends too. Like I have a lot of friends that are in the burlesque community that that I'm in on Insta that like will give me like costumes and stuff that are like from their old shows that they don't use anymore
Oh,
that
cool.
I try to apply to everyday life. Or at least when I first started, I did. And I'm like, no, that's not like going out clothes and you don't put this with this. And like it was a mismatch that was just like you learn from it, but it was just like, no, no.
you
Yeah.
you said that you have pictures that you kept around for your mental health, like the scantily clad, like I guess as you would say, like poor. I mean, that sounds like a great fashion choice to me. I don't know. I'm um,
No, you would immediately identify it as terrible if and
yeah.
when you see it.
But like, so what? I guess keeping around for your mental health. I know for me, like looking at pictures of me when I was first starting transitioning, it's definitely like a weird because like I guess back then I thought that I was like really far along, And then as I progressed further along, like I'd progress a month and I'd look back and be like, wow, like, and it was almost like dysphoric to look back at those for
Yeah.
me personally, just because um, I'm just such a big judge of myself. I don't um, but yeah, it was interesting. Like when you would keep around, like you keep around pictures, would you recommend people who are getting into it, like keeping pictures around for like mental health or that sort of stuff?
Um, I don't know if it's specific to my situation or what it sounds like. We have somewhat similar situations in this way, but for me personally, it's like being in our 30s. It's I don't regret anything ever. Like I have no regrets in life. I'm very big on that. But then it's also like your mind starts to wander, and you're like, you see these cute girls that are in their 20s or teens that start very early, and you're just like, wow, they're gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
they knew what they wanted right away. You can't tell the difference. They're like they're beautiful, and you think to yourself like that kind
I
of
hate
gets in
that.
your head, and you're
Oh,
just like, I can never be like that. Like, but then I look at old pictures of myself and I'm like, I look terrible, and I was in my 20s there. So like, I feel like I look way better now. So like, why can't the future be better? So for me,
Uh,
that's like a mental health thing where it's just like, I'm better
oh,
now. So like, let's keep going.
oh, I like that. I never thought of it like that, but that's great. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's like, look at how much progress I've made.
Yeah. Like, why can't you keep going? Like people look at people in their like 40s, like 30, 40 years ago, or your parents or whatever, they look like they're like 100. Like people in their 40s now look amazing. So like we can keep it going. Like there's no rule. Like
That's a great point. Yeah. Yeah, because I tend to shy away from like my early transition pictures just because it's like I had no idea what I was doing. And I'm like, just kind of I guess it makes me think that I still don't know what I'm doing. Like, am I gonna think 10 years down the road, like, wow, what an idiot. Um, but yeah, that's awesome. I love that idea.
can I take a moment to change directions real fast?
yeah.
I should have
Yeah.
ran this by the ladies. But I kind of always say, well, first off, I know the show mostly talks about trans topics and stuff, but I always say we are so much more than our gender. So if it's okay, Clara, can I ask you three random rapid fire questions just to
Yeah,
get to know
definitely.
you a little bit more as a person?
Sure.
Okay, I'll read all three first, and then if you want me to repeat them later, let me know. First one
Okay.
is, what are some of your phobias in life?
Okay.
What is your favorite dish at your favorite restaurant? And what is your go-to show to stream on some of the networks?
Love
Oh,
it.
okay. Phobia is definitely like fear of missing out, like during the holidays and stuff, because I have to work so much, like during like the major events, like you kind of build it up in your head, like, oh, 4th of July, I want to go do this, like New Year's Eve, I want to do this. And you feel like you're missing out on so much when like in reality, you're probably not, but like, you see like all the Netflix specials and stuff, and you're just like, oh, if I had this holiday off, that this magical moment would happen. That's not the reality, but like that's kind of like a phobia with me. Um, favorite dish at favorite restaurant? Fucking love crab legs. I'll mash down on crab legs
Ooh,
anywhere.
I love crab legs. Dude, from where?
Um, there's a lot of beachside places around here. Well, I can say this place because it's like not in one particular area. It's like, but Krabby Bill's, their crab legs, I'll demolish them every single time. And then last question, sorry.
Your go-to show to stream or
Oh,
binge?
I've been watching uh I've been doing a lot of like I Wish You Were Here on Netflix.
Oh, is that a new show? I haven't heard of that one.
It's with Tim Robinson. It's kind of like an extension of the Detroiters that was on. It's like kind of a sketch comedy that's like I don't know. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty cool.
Okay, I think I'll look into that.
Interesting.
I have weird phobias. So I'm scared of whales.
What? No,
They're
I
they're
expand.
huge. I
it
get
freaked me out,
it.
and I've had dreams where I have fallen in the ocean and you see nothing but dark blue, and you see a giant figure swimming towards you.
Do you have a
And I
phobia of
just
like water at all, or is it just like
maybe
whales?
it's just deep water in general, but yeah, whales
Okay.
just
Deep
give
water,
me the
that's a
heebie-jeebies.
pretty common one. Yeah, like I mean,
Yeah,
people who go scuba
that's
diving or
me.
like snorkeling and you jump out into that deep water and it's just
Oh
like
God, I
things
can't
so
even imagine.
claustrophobic.
I can't see the bottom. I'm not doing well. Like, no.
Yeah.
So we're
And
not going
also
deep sea fishing together.
flying.
I've
I
seen the
hate
Meg.
flying.
I know what happens.
Flying, really? So do you fly then, or do you?
I do fly. I'm actually in a long distance relationship, so I have to fly a lot more than I like. I find that if I have a little bit of alcohol ahead of time, it helps me. But I don't know. It's not taking off. It's not landing. It's just the thought of something happening and it just going down because that's like a whole 2 minute drop where you're just like contemplating every decision you made in life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that would be just the worst experience ever, knowing it's coming. Jeez, this sucks.
Do you
Well,
ever do like the mental exercise where like you can Google like things that are more likely to happen than plane going down, and it's just like getting hit by lightning and like I don't know, maybe reading
well,
that kind of stuff is good,
I
like
mean,
where it's like, oh, none of that shit happens.
well, the
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
part, they say like everybody's like, oh, there's a lot more car accidents than there are plane accidents, but it's like, yeah, but car accidents are a lot more survivable. Like it's
No, what are you doing? Stop. Like,
Thanks a
um
lot, Danny,
that's
for
not
blaming him.
no.
um yeah, my thing would always be like crashing at the end of a flight though, because it's like you just made it through all that. You made it through the takeoff when it's all a little
Yeah.
jumpy, and then you made it through the bumpiness, and then you're about done, and then you die. It's like, come on, man. Sorry, that's stupid.
That's the wrong devil's advocate. Like,
I don't want to fly home.
You know
Um,
what does happen more often? Trains derailing. That happens all the time.
oh,
More than airplanes? Going down?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew.
Hands down. That's like the one thing that happens more often
Probably
than
still
Nice.
more
anything
Staying
else.
away
survivable
from
than a plane
trains
crash.
also.
Planes, trains, automobiles,
But
typically.
once I will say once again, it's probably much easier to survive a train derailing than a plane crash. So Debbie Downer over Danny Downer over here. Um oh, I
I
love
love
the
when she laughs and she tries to save it.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
it's like a
But I
needle.
will say, Danny, for everyone who's listening, your face looks amazing after your procedure. So
Thanks.
happy for you.
yes.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, it's been it was whirlwind, for sure. Like not really knowing. So for anybody listening to the podcast and wondering why the hell does Danny have a lisp? Um, that one wasn't intentional. Um, so um, I yeah, just had face surgery, so my face is looking less doodly. But yeah. No, Mika, I love those questions. Those are great. We have to that's gonna be our one of our new segments because we like to have segments on our show. And actually, this may be a good time to jump into our other favorite question that we have. You haven't been prepped for these questions, have you at all?
No.
Okay, good. Well,
Perfect.
we
Uh-oh.
have
So,
one that is it's just a standard girl dad girl question, but what would you say your transition theme song is?
oh, um, oh, I don't know. Like, huh.
Like a song that kind of like that. Yeah, I know for me, like mine is Super Bloom by Mr. Wise because it's like I came out the other side. I like didn't think I was gonna make it, and um yeah. But is there anything that like like it's about like pumps you up, gets you to the gym, something you listen to
Hmm.
like make yourself feel better, like like say for instance like when your relationship was falling apart, anything that got
Yeah.
you through it.
Um, I'll get back to you on that. I have a couple answers going through my head. Um, well, maybe it's more like a genre. I like genre music. Like I love Cubana music, like just anything, either Cubana music or I love Arabic hip hop. Like those two like genres just give me like like so hyped up more than anything.
That's cool.
Arabic
Like
hip hop. I
I
like that
oh yeah.
answer.
both of those
Absolutely.
both of those genres. That's the first time I've ever heard that genre ever named. That is what is that like? What is that like?
When I wake up
Which one?
tomorrow, I'm gonna say, "Hey Google, play some fucking Arabic hip
Yeah,
hop."
definitely. Yeah. Like I don't know, probably like the oldest mainstream one is like a Pujambi MC or something like. Oh, did it play?
Oh no. Yeah, it says it's gonna play. We'll see what happens.
That's
The
awesome.
stream's not going to stop because of copyrights, is it?
Oh no, no, no.
Wait.
We'll just get a cease and desist. But
Hey Google, stop.
no, but nobody listens to this anyway. Uh, no, yeah, like but yeah, it's awesome that you have like a genre that like kind of got you through it. Or like is that still kind of your go-to to like make yourself feel better when like say somebody's mean, like when these people are getting all up in your face. Is there like a fight song that you like put on to like pump yourself back up? Because I can imagine that's probably pretty like dysphoric and like must take you down a peg. But like, how do you bring yourself back up from that?
Um, yeah, I'd say like there's some go-to song. Well, yeah, there's some go-to songs within the genre that are kind of in the genre that aren't. I'd say my go-to artist is Talib Kweli, and then
Ooh, good one.
probably uh and then Jay-Z has some good like Jay-Z does a good like remix with Punjabi MC where it's just like all about the girls. Like that song's really good. That one's probably one of the ones that like kind of hypes me up.
I love it. We're gonna put links all over this page. I found out recently that my video is reversed, so I'm gonna put links here because I used to say I'm gonna put links here, and everybody's like, "Why is she putting links off screen?" So, anyways, um, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, we get a lot of like unique answers for that. And sadly, when we pop the question without prepping people on it, we get a lot of like Shania Twain's I Feel Like a Woman.
Mm.
Although Mika's I think was pretty good when you said what it was
It was a dude
I want
with
to hear Can I hear everybody else's answer for that?
Yeah, mine is Blonde by Glades. About this chick that kind of throws her boyfriend to the curb and says, "Fuck it, fuck everything. I'm just gonna dye it all blonde," and move on.
Yeah, burns his
Oh yeah.
front lawn.
Burns it to the ground.
Yeah,
my genuine answer was "This Is Me" from the Greatest Showman soundtrack.
good answer. Such a good
Yeah, that
song.
song really
Nice.
hit me to the
Such a good
core the first
song.
time I heard it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna download that movie, watch it on the plane on Saturday morning.
that's a great
Uh,
movie.
Right before
so,
it crashes.
Oh shit.
Sorry. I didn't know.
okay,
I don't know.
No.
I do have one more like kind of like a question that I like to ask like kind of brings it on and up. What is something over the next next maybe season or two that you're excited about in terms of your life? Like what's something coming up that you're like really looking forward to?
Um, huh. Probably just I'm very lucky in that like the group of people that I'm like kind of expanding my social circle right now. Sorry, is like they're really cool people. So like just getting into like I almost feel like I'm in college again, where it's just like, oh, I can every night I can go out if I want, like not necessarily drink and do stuff, but like just hang out with people that are like minded and everything. And it's
Yeah,
just like, wow, I
awesome.
haven't had that since college. Like that's really cool. So like just realizing that like life isn't a career, it isn't like just going and doing this. It's like you can do both and just having like a, like just a more fulfilling life overall, I guess.
Love it. That's awesome. Very cool.
Thank you. These are really good questions.
Don't we like to have fun here.
These ladies are professionals.
No, we're actually like I'm an introvert like crazy. I'm a software nerd. So but uh cool. Well, let's see um Well, also, I guess if do y'all want to do final thoughts and then jump into after hours?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just start off real quick. I like it's been amazing talking to you and like hearing your story, getting to like I love your strength and how your perseverance is really inspiring. Um and yeah, thank you for being able to like just dig deep into what we would recommend to newer people because I know we have a lot of younger eggs cracked slash people who are still in their eggs. So being able to like show them that it does get better is really important to me, to
Absolutely.
us, hopefully to us. But yeah, thank you for being able to be so open with us.
No, and thank you for having a platform like this. This is awesome. Like this is a really good resource. And I think that it's that's why I really want to do this is because it's like I love that you're doing this. Like this is so cool. It's so accessible. It's so real. Like it's just thank you for being something that like, an additional tool for, younger versions of ourselves. Like that's really cool.
Oh, you're the sweetest person ever.
Bree, Mika, you have final thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna ring your bell for a minute. You're fucking gorgeous. I am really excited to see what comes of your starting on um hormones when you do, if you ever do. But your palette from where you're starting right now is immaculate. Like
Yeah,
you're good to go. I don't know
yeah,
why you're thumbs downing that.
yeah. You're yeah,
But
you're starting on third base.
I am, yeah, you are. You've got a really easy home stretch in front of you, and I'm really excited to see where you
If
go
if you want to, obviously.
if
Like
you want
I think
to.
that's one of
Oh,
the
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. We'll do. See if it does it for me. There we go.
How are you guys doing that? That is so cool.
Yeah.
It's an Apple thing.
Oh, I don't have Apple. I have an Android.
Yeah. If you're on iOS 17.
Oh, wow.
Bree, do the hearts, do the hearts, do the hearts. Hearts, hearts.
People listening on the podcast are going to be so confused.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We're just
they
doing
probably the
things.
people on the podcast have probably seen our lives, which we do this entirely too much.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, Mika, you got any final thoughts before we jump
Yeah,
out?
Clara, it was such a pleasure meeting you. You're such a lovely person and so sweet and beautiful. And I couldn't stop staring at your legs the whole time. So sorry.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Uh,
Oh,
Do I get
yeah,
to
for
fireworks
those
if I do it
listening,
too?
am I try start with a thumbs up because you've been doing it, I think.
yeah, yeah. You like for some, I think it was your hand. Like it detected that you had a thumbs down, but like do like double metal signs. If you do that, it'll probably that one's usually one of the easy. Huh.
Oh,
There
There
you
you
there
go.
go.
it goes.
Lasers.
Good
Oh.
job.
Then if you do double thumbs up, you can do
The rave in
confetti.
your house.
Um,
For, for those of you
yeah.
listening, there are multiple lasers coming from my background.
Have you do the balloons again?
Balloons is just a peace sign.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I feel so left out. I can't participate.
It's fine.
Balloons.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yeah. Double peace signs is fireworks.
Oh,
So,
Oh yeah.
anyways, well, for those who are watching, or those who are listening, God, that must be a great radio. So, but, um, yeah, so this has been an amazing episode of Girl Dad Girls, and for those who are not part of the Patreon, this is where we're going to leave you. Unfortunately, for those who are part of the Patreon account, we will see you after this in the after
Join the
hours.
Patreon.
Yeah, if you're not part of the Patreon, what the hell is wrong with you? Join us. Don't you want
No,
to see?
she's right though. Like, what is wrong with you? You join it.
Yeah, don't you want to see
how
what
does that
it
work?
looks
What is
like?
included with a Patreon?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Be-
so feel free to subscribe and join us. If not, we'll see you next week. New episodes every Thursday. So um, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see everybody soon.
This has been a production of Girl Dad Girls Podcast. Check out new episodes every Thursday. If you are interested in knowing more, please email info@girldadgirls.com or find us on Instagram at girldadgirls. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.